friends, it's Marie Prevail from Prevail Homes Residential Assisted Living Facility, where we talk about all things seniors, all things caregivers, and everything related to health. So today we have a special guest, Ms. Johane Filemon, and we're so delighted to have her. She's a registered dietitian and she has been working with seniors for many, many years. And so we're so excited to have her today. I wrote down tons of questions for her. This is not scripted, and we'll be able to get a lot of hopefully great answers for her that will be able to be helpful to you. So as far as with our ALF here, Prevail Homes, we're licensed for 8 beds, and we do have a registered dietitian who looked after our menu. Her name is Anna Alvarez. So hopefully one day we'll be able to be blessed by her also. But today, Ms. Johane was able to grace us with her presence. She is actually pregnant, and so we do appreciate that she is here with us to be able to go over things related to seniors and caregivers. And I really think this will be a very, very good interview with her. So I won't go on and talk your head off. I'm just going to have Ms. Johane here introduce herself to you.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Marie, for having me on. I am so excited
Absolutely. We're excited.
Share my wisdom and information that I've had learned over the years. So as Marie stated, I am a registered dietitian nutritionist, and I was going to say the bulk of my clinical career, but all of my clinical career really has been in senior care in long-term facilities. And, you know, initially I thought I was going to be taking care of the babies. But after I had my own babies, I realized I can't watch babies in the hospital. It hurts my heart too much. But my dad was sick and he ended up in a nursing home for a period of time. And I realized that experience made me see how much of a benefit I can provide, how beneficial my expertise could be in a long-term care facility. So I've enjoyed working with seniors in the clinical setting and helping them. You know, they're like the other end of the spectrum. You know, you have your babies and then you have your seniors. And although they're not kids, they're not children. I mean, these people are wise beyond any kind of, you know, thing you could think of. But at some point in their lives, they do require some of the assistance that you would give to a baby, and the care that I give to them, and the empathy that I have for them is something that I would have with children who I would be taking care of in the hospital as well. So I've had a great time in my clinical career working with seniors.
Awesome, great. And then just tell our listeners a little bit, aside from you caring for our seniors and the nursing home realm, give us a little bit of information about your just overall what you're doing right now.
So right now I'm doing more of private practice. I've been doing private practice for over 5 years now. And I do a lot of gut health and anti-inflammatory therapies. And as of last year, since the pandemic hit, I'm no longer in a clinical setting because I had to be home for my kids. You guys know how that is, how the last 18 months have been for all of us, topsy-turvy,
Absolutely.
right? So I'm really focused more on private practice, one-on-one, doing anti-inflammatory therapies and helping people reverse their gut health symptoms and issues, which I love that as well. That's like one of my favorite things to do.
Awesome. Great. Well, thank you so much again for coming. So let's start with some great questions. And I really, really think someone's going to be able to find this information useful. So the first question that I have is something that we all want to know, which is insurers and boosts. These things, we see them in the aisles of Walmart, Publix, and Target. And a lot of times seniors, they tend to gravitate towards that, and as well as their caregivers, because this is something that is known to have a lot of calories. And so sometimes our seniors don't always eat. What are your thoughts about something like Ensure or Boost? Now, does this have to be something that you recommend that the doctor recommend, or can we just go to Walmart and just grab Booster or Ensure and it shouldn't be a problem? What are your thoughts?
So these supplements, Ensure, Boost, the store brand ones, Walmart has their store brand ones, Walgreens have their store brand, whatever it is, they're not bad items to incorporate into the diet of your senior. Now, you don't need a prescription to use them because they are accessible in the stores, but I want people to keep in mind that they are supplements. So if your senior is not eating and their appetite has decreased or their intake of food has decreased, I don't want you to automatically grab one of these Ensures or Boost or other supplements to give to your senior right off bat. We need to find out what may be the cause. Did they start a new medication that is decreasing their appetite? Did they just have a procedure or something? Are they sad because something is going on in the family's life that is causing them to have a decrease in appetite? So we want to look at those factors first before we start supplementing with any of these high calorie, high protein supplements, because they are supplements and we want them to supplement what they're not getting in their diet. So I always tell people, you can try to make your own smoothies at home. You can try to make your own drinks, high calorie drinks, adding protein powders. If you're plant-based, there's great plant-based protein powders that you can use that are on market. If you're dairy-based, it's, to each his own, whatever you want to use, adding avocados to it, making sure you add, some kind of like a banana or strawberries for sweet effect, and then adding some like non-starchy vegetables like your spinach, your kales, or whatever it may be, and try to make them at home yourself and see how they do. And then if they're not intaking anything, then we can look at the Ensures and the Boost. But I don't always think that they're the first line of defense. Let's say someone just had surgery, like your senior just came from surgery, they may be the first line of defense then, because they're probably not wanting to eat anything at all. And we want them to eat whatever. But in a general sense, we shouldn't just be giving them these supplements just because, especially if there's nothing going on.
No, that's awesome, because I do know, I know personally some people who just, that's just part of their daily regimen, where even though they're eating full meals, they do tend to just grab some Ensure and Boost, and they just think that it's just a regular supplement. Now, what are your thoughts about it being flavored versus vanilla versus 200 and something calories versus 360? Like, how do we know what to get our seniors, or as a caregiver? What do you think about that?
Well, the flavor, it's
per preference.
It matters. Yeah, the flavor matters depending on the seniors. Some people will gravitate more than to chocolate stuff, strawberry stuff, or vanilla stuff, whatever they want. It's just flavoring. It doesn't really provide more nutrient or less nutrient depending on the flavor. Now, when it comes to 360 calorie stuff, there's some 400 calorie stuff out there. There are supplements that are geared towards people who have renal disease or certain things going on, and those can be even higher in their caloric content. So it all depends on what we're trying to do here. So let's say you're senior, you've noticed a decrease in their appetite, you've tried any of the other examples that I gave earlier and nothing is working. You may start out with a 250 and see if you can supplement, maybe have a snack in between. 250 calories can cover a snack in between meals. So you still give them their breakfast, present them with their lunch, present them with their dinner, but then give them a 250 calorie supplement once a day, sometime in between their meals. And then if we find that weight loss is continuing, we either may increase the 250 to twice a day. So that's like 2 ounces of supplements you're giving them, or you can give them the 360 one time a day. So the difference here is if it's someone who gets full very fast, we wouldn't want to give them 16 ounces.
Got it.
Of supplement to get to that 500. We want to give them a smaller quantity fluid-wise that gives more bang for the buck. So if you can get higher calories in a smaller amount of liquid, that's better for someone who gets full very fast and is not eating a lot. So that person, we would want to give them higher calorie for smaller amount of fluids. And someone else who doesn't get full fast, but we just want to add more calories, that person, you can give them 250 calorie supplements throughout the day.
Oh, awesome. And then just quick question. Now, I know there's some people in the long-term facilities who require tube feeding in their stomach. Is that the same thing as these Ensures and Boosts, or it's a whole, different ball game?
No, for the most part, there's a lot of similarities to them. They're providing, your calories. They're providing proteins, fats, carbohydrates. They're providing all of that like the supplements does. The difference is someone who is fully on tube feeding is completely dependent on that tube feeding providing their nutrients. So they're not eating anything by mouth. That tube feeding is it. So it is providing 1,500, 2,000 calories, whatever it is that we calculated as a dietitian to fit their needs is what they're going to be receiving for the day. Some people, they're on both. They're on oral meals where they're able to eat, but they get full very fast, or they don't eat enough. And so we have to give them part of the day. We got to give them tube feeding formula. And it varies per person of how much of that we're giving them. But the companies that are providing these Ensures and Boosts, it's the same companies that are making the supplements. Okay. So there's a lot of similarities to them, for sure.
Absolutely. Awesome. Okay. So here's another good question. What are your thoughts about when seniors come, or the caregiver may say, I don't have a lot of appetite. Like, what do I do? Or my mom's not eating, her appetite has been reduced. She's not eating a lot, anything that I cook for her. What are your suggestions? What are a few tips that you may have to improve that?
So we need to dig further. I talked about a little bit of that earlier. So find out why. What is the reason why they're not having an appetite? Why has their appetite decreased? Are they on new medications? Because there are a lot of medications out there that can cause you to have a decrease in appetite. Are they constipated? If you're backed up, your stomach is full, you don't want to eat. We want to find out what's going on there. Had they recently had surgery? Are they, if something going on stress-wise in the family, something that can cause them to just be down and not want to eat? So we want to address those factors first to find out why that appetite is decreasing, so that we don't have a perpetual issue that's going on. We want to address it. And then have the conversation with your senior as well, so that they can tell you why they think their appetite is low. When did that low appetite start? And you can kind of pinpoint yourself, oh, that's when whatever it is occurred in the family. That's why there's a lower poor appetite, or that's the new medication the physician just prescribed. Maybe that's what is causing the poor appetite to occur. So do some digging and investigating, and then making sure that while you're investigating, you're encouraging them to eat their favorite foods, whatever it may be. When someone has poor appetite, when we're working with them in a nursing home, we're not quote unquote worried about health at this point. We're worried about them eating anything. So if their comfort food is mac and cheese, get them some mac and cheese. And if that's what they're gonna eat, we're gonna get them to eat that. If it's fried chicken, I'm here in Georgia, so fried chicken, mac and cheese, all the soul foods are like the top of the list for the seniors. They may have a poor appetite, but they'll be willing to eat a little mac and cheese or a little fried chicken if you can give it to them. And if that's what they can eat, we're gonna offer them those foods. So try to introduce their comfort foods to them. And then if nothing else is working in the foods that you're presenting to them, then we look at the supplements, maybe making something at home, or even in adding some of the on-market already prepared supplements to present to them. But make sure you're finding out the cause, what may be occurring that caused that decrease of appetite. Absolutely.
There just may be something underlying that the family or the caregiver is missing. That's very, very good point. So how much food do you think the average senior for like a male or a female should be eating? So is it less, because for example, pediatrics, they have a particular amount of food. teenage boys are eating everything in the home. How much do you think seniors, whether they're female or male, should be eating? Average.
So it's person specific. It depends on the person. It's their height plays into it, their activity levels, so how active they are. You guys are in an assisted living facility, so your seniors are a little bit more active than someone who is in a skilled facility, a long-term care facility. Those people may be bedridden. Their mobility has decreased significantly, so their intake of meals and calories may not be as high as someone who is at an assisted living facility. But for me, my motto, and a lot of the other dietitians who work at long-term care facilities, these seniors, they're in their 80s, they're in their late 70s. If they want to eat, I will let them eat and enjoy life and enjoy their foods. Like if there's nothing going on, they are stable, there's nothing acute happening that I need to watch out for. There's no cholesterol problems, none of that. I let them enjoy life, making sure to incorporate all the healthy stuff that we want. We want them to make sure they're getting all the leafy, not the leafy greens, but like the non-starchy vegetables, starchy vegetables, proteins, making sure they're getting all of that. But, letting them enjoy life so that they feel like life is worth living and they're not here getting mushed and stuff. But if somebody has like a acute situation going on, let's say they have some wounds that I have to treat, the amount of protein that I'm giving them may be higher than someone who's stable and has no issue. If somebody is on a renal failure and they need to be on some kind of renal diet, how I feed them is going to be different than how I feed other people. So it depends on the person. But in general, with your seniors at home, let them eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Give them some snacks in between. Let them add their comfort foods in. Don't be so picky and making life miserable for them. Right. Because somebody who's reached 80, 90, a lot of people don't see those ages. Let them enjoy life and let them enjoy their foods and eat. Just making sure that you incorporate those non-starchy vegetables and a protein and a starch in their meals, and they should be good to go.
Awesome.
And a lot of people, they don't even eat past 5. They be ready to go to bed at 6 o'clock anyways. They don't even eat late like we do.
Absolutely. And for that age group, food is very important to them, especially in the assisted living facilities and nursing homes. They just look forward to their meals. So definitely we want to make sure it's healthy, but for sure, we have to kind of do a give and take. Absolutely.
Right. And then the other thing is, when it comes to their food, is that they've lost a lot of control in their life. They're at a living facility or they're at a nursing home. That food, you would not imagine how passionate they are at selecting their foods and selecting the menu for the month. So we allow them that, letting them be part of that, because that's one of the only things that they have control over.
Absolutely. So here's another good question. I've gotten that in the past, and people want to know, so mom is losing weight. She doesn't have anything that we can see on the lab work, nothing going on. She's just losing weight. Some family members and caregivers feel like they want to bulk their parents up. Is there anything that you recommend, or this is not something that you recommend?
Oh yeah, I mean, if there's significant weight loss, there's a measure that we use, a formula that we use to look at what significant weight loss is, whether it's significant within the last week, the last 3 months, the last 6 months, or even the last year. There's a formula that we look at to see if there's significant loss that has occurred. So if significant loss is occurring, we start, as we work in a nursing home facility, we work in as a team. So the doctor, if he's available, the nurse practitioner, the nursing director, and the nurse that's on staff, the head nurse that's on staff on the floor that the senior is on, we're all working as a team to figure out what is the reason that the senior has significant weight loss. Again, it comes down to the basics of finding out Is it a new medication that we started? Are they constipated? Is it the winter season? Like we're in the winter seasons, fall winter seasons now. A lot of seniors start to get down around this time. You know, some of them don't have family that may come to see them, or they may have lost someone around this time. This is a period of time that significant weight loss I see is increased significantly. So we want to look at what may be causing the weight loss, and then as we're looking at what's causing it, because we want to fix the cause,
the root,
while we're giving the support of the supplements. So you may want to bulk up. So we do provide, bulking agents, if you want to call them that. But like, let's say they're having cream of wheat or oatmeal in the morning, we may add whole milk to it, or something that's higher in calories. Same thing if we're making like their mashed potatoes or whatever food it may be, we may increase the caloric content so we can bulk it up food-wise first. And then if that's not helping, we start looking at the supplements.
So I know you're not particularly prescribing, you're prescribing the diet, but I know you're not prescribing the pills. What are your thoughts about, people asking for medications to increase the appetite, actual meds?
Yeah, it's not my first line of defense, but if that's what I have to do, I will make recommendations to add an appetite stimulant for people who I find are not eating enough. And we've done all the other interventions and nothing else is working. We will try an appetite stimulant to see if we can stimulate the appetite. Because sometimes the medication that they're on that may be causing the appetite to decrease, we may not be able to get them off of that based on, what the doctor has prescribed if there's no other option. So yeah, we may have to add an appetite stimulant. And so with the physician and the nurses, we get together to see if that is the best option. And then if significant weight loss continues to occur with everything that we've done, my final defense is recommending tube feeding.
Got it. That's okay. Okay, here's the fun one. Everybody is likely is going to dealt with it, has a loved one who's dealt with it, a caregiver, something. Constipation. So this is something that I know is quite common in seniors. They are obsessed about their bowels many times, and sometimes the bowel just does not move. So what are your thoughts, any tips from the dietary standpoint that caregivers or the seniors can actually utilize to hopefully get us going?
Right. So you are absolutely right. They are, seniors can be a little bit obsessed with their bowel movements. I would be too if I was regular 1 minute and then all of a sudden
blocked up.
You're blocked up. So decrease in motility can cause an increase in constipation. So the first time they end up in a nursing home, whether if it was an accident, surgery, whatever it was that got them there, that decrease in motility does cause an increase in constipation. So you may see that occurring. So, excuse me, you may want to get together with the physical therapy team on staff and see if we can get some programs and get them enrolled in some programs that are going to increase their motility and get them moving and getting some exercise in throughout the day, whatever that may look like. Also looking at their medications again. Medications play a big role in the symptoms. So much. And so like if they're on iron pills, that's going to cause constipation to occur. There's other medications that may do that as well. So looking at their medications, asking the staff, is there a medication that they're on, or speaking directly to the dietitian, they will know and they will tell you. And then you can then speak to the physician and say, hey, my loved one is on iron pills. Is there something else we can use? Do they really need to be on these iron pills? Can we try to do it through their diet to increase their iron intake? And if so, can we get them off the iron pills? And then other medication that you may find that they tell you are may increase constipation. You then speak to the physician again and see if there's any alternates that we can use. And then we can increase fiber as well. So in the nursing home, although we're providing foods, we allow the family members to bring food in. So there may be something that they love that's high in fiber that we can't make at the facility because I don't know, we don't have the recipe how grandma or their wives or whoever made it. So you can bring foods from home that's going to get them to increase their fiber intakes. And so, I mean, there's different ways we can go about it, but we need to first find out what's causing that constipation. As with everything in our senior, it's finding out the root cause of the issues. While we're trying to fix those root causes, we're putting interventions in, but just putting interventions in without the root cause, finding out root cause, it's not worth it.
And then I know from personal experience, some seniors, they don't drink a lot of water and then they're not moving a lot. So they're just like stuck, you're not moving, the bowels won't move either. You know, it's just a combination of living a sedentary lifestyle and no fiber, like you stated.
Dehydration is a big thing within the senior population. And so making sure that they're drinking enough, making sure the nurses and the CNAs are replenishing their cups all the time, because especially the ones who are not mobile, they can't get to the water stations or whatever it may be to replenish their cups. So making sure that that's available for them. And if maybe their palate, you know, again, with the medications, your taste buds, they change. And that could be one of the reasons why somebody is not eating enough. They're no longer wanting to eat. They're, you know, which is gonna increase the constipation and all other issues. So we may want to find different things that we can do to increase their fluid intake. Water is great, but we may have to juice may be what we got to do. That's what we have to do. Infusing the water. Some facilities, they're able to have infused water stations. And so that's a recommendation you can make if you don't see that at your facility.
To put a little fruit.
Put a little fruit in it, get them to, and then the visually too, because
it looks inviting.
Eating is visual. It's what we taste. So it's going to invite them to eat. And if they see some lemons or some oranges in that water, to consume in that water. And then if we have to use juice, you know, we will do that. If your loved one has a favorite juice that they prefer, if they're dehydrated, bring it in, and we'll let you guys know, you know, if that's something that doesn't have any issue, won't have any issue with whatever may be going on with them.
Absolutely. And then just a quick thing I wanted to add is just making sure that we're keeping track of the bowel movements, you know, how often your loved one is having a bowel movement, so you can be able to hopefully detect it early that, hey, grandma hasn't pooped in like 10 days, you know. And you see that quite often, that they go to the hospital or their stomach's distended because they have not they haven't had a bowel movement, and that really was all that was going on. It's just blocked up. So that was very, very good. Now, any other tips that you have for just regular caregiver who just is, you know, helping out, nobody with experience, as well as seniors for themselves, that they can try to implement? Just the last few tips.
Well, I mean, I will say, first of all, be an advocate. Either be an advocate for yourself if you are able to, and if you are the caregiver, be an advocate for your senior. You know, they are one of many wherever they go. And so you are the only one that can be like the person that is focused on that one person all the time, and make sure that everything that their needs, their wants are being met. Some seniors are shy, and you know, you put them somewhere, wherever it may be, and they don't want to be a bother. They don't want to be problematic. And when you go in, you say, you ask your senior, what's going on? Is everything okay? Are you receiving everything you need? Probe them and get them to speak. And they may tell you something that they're not telling us. So be an advocate for your senior, and make sure you're attending any of the meetings that they have, because the more on hands you are, the more you're going to know what's going on. The more we can know as a team, things that, that may be in their history that we would not know. So it's kind of like we all need to work together for your senior to get them well, to give them joy, to make them happy in their day-to-day life. So that's like my number one tips. I would say, be an advocate and be present.
Awesome. Thank you. So, okay, before we go, tell our viewers here where they can find you. Give us all of your socials so we can start following you.
So on Instagram, I am Black Nutritionist Mama, because I am a mama of 4 and I have one on the way, as we talked about earlier. And I focus a lot on my Instagram, gut health, nutrition, for families and mothers, and how to incorporate all that lifestyle in the foods that you feed in your families. On Facebook, I am Wonderfully Nutritious by Johane, and my website is Wonderfully Nutritious as well. So my business name is Wonderfully Nutritious Solutions. So you can find me in any of those avenues. DM me any questions that you may have, and I will answer them.
Awesome. Well, thank you, friends, so much for just being able to be present here with Miss Filemon. She was just a joy. I feel like I learned a lot, and I was able, there's certain things that I've been wondering about, and she was so helpful in answering those. And I know that there's someone out there that will be able to find this information useful. So again, if you like what you see, we want you to continue to follow us. There's going to be tons and tons of great information coming your way, little tips, as well as wonderful speakers and individuals like Miss Filemon who will be coming to our YouTube page. So continue to follow us. Please press that like button, subscribe down there, and also share. We're so happy to have Miss Filemon today, and we wish her all of the best with the new little baby, and we'll be happy to see the baby on social media when she's able to post the new baby. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.